Welcome everyone. Happy Tuesday. Getting set up here this morning. I hope everybody's off to a good week this morning. Can everybody hear me over on TikTok? In TikTok land, can you hear me? Let's see here. Okay, good. So I hope everybody's having a great week. I am live this morning, both on TikTok and over on YT. And today I'm going to be working on a baby blanket. So last week, you may remember I was working on a baby blanket for a little boy. And I finished that one. This little baby boy was born last Sunday, so a week ago Sunday. And I need to get this in the mail, but we got it all finished. And this is Craft and Crochet pattern 2208. And so anyhow, then Thursday when I was on the live, I knew we had another baby girl on the way. And so I started working again on another baby blanket. I know you guys are probably like, man, April, another baby blanket. But hey, this baby girl came on Thursday. So we have to welcome her with a little baby gift. And this again is pattern 2208. So I worked on this on Saturday, and you can see I'm to the outer edge here. And this edging I'm going to do a little different. So I was sitting here thinking about it last night, and I was brainstorming. Now, guys, ignore the colors here, okay? I was just brainstorming with my scrap yarn. But here's what I'm going to be adding to this edging of this baby blanket. So right now I have finished this little rose color. Now, again, color-wise, it's not going to be white, blue, and pink. It's going to be all this same antique rose color. Victorian rose is what it's called. But I'm going to make these shells this morning. And so that's what I've got kind of on deck. So anyhow, last night I do this a lot when I'm brainstorming. I will, just grab some scrap yarn and start to construct and see if what I'm thinking and what's rolling around in my brain will kind of work. Now, one thing I started out, you can see here on this corner, see how this is kind of bunched up here. So I made some modifications, and you can see here it's much flatter. So anyhow, that's what we've got coming this morning. I hope everybody's off to a good week. I'm with this now. Now that I've kind of showed you guys what's in the plan, I'm going to frog this out. Let's see. Anvil said I have no sound. Does everybody else have sound? Over on TikTok, I know we've got 2 people watching over on YouTube, 150 over here on TikTok. Can you all hear me? Well, while you're chiming in, if volume is good, I'm going to work on frogging this, okay? Just what we wanted to start our morning with, right, is a little frog action. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. But, and hopefully I can remember this, guys, right? Because I just kind of whipped this up in my brain. And so that sometimes happens too, as I'm thinking about these things. Oh gosh, and it's a big knotted up mess. But that's kind of how April is. So let's get this unwound, and then we can get to crocheting this morning. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I know I certainly did. The weather has been so nice here in Alabama. Really, really beautiful weather. So I know it's a little weird for me to start out with frogging something this early in the morning, but I was going to frog it last night, and honestly, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, they might want to see like what the goal is, right? What we're looking to do this morning. So I think this is going to work up nice. Like I said, I've never made this before. I just kind of was thinking about it. I wanted to do something a little different. This mom is kind of a fancy mom. You all know those fancy moms. She just is. Everything is like to the nines. It's just everything in her life is very beautiful, and so I didn't want to give her just the regular old edging, But I mean, the regular old edging is good too. So. Sound is good here and on YT. Thank you, Gen X. Appreciate that. Gen X is here moderating for us this morning. She helps me do my job better here. So, all right, we are officially frogged. So let's get this party started. Get that out of my way. Get this pink out of my way. So the yarn that I'm using is Victorian Rose, and it is by Caron Simply Soft. So I'm using white and Caron Simply Soft for this baby blanket. And what I've done is, up until this point, I was doing pattern 2208. And then now I'm coming back and I did a chain 2, and then I did a slip stitch. I skipped one, then did a slip stitch, and then I chained 2 and did a slip stitch. And I did that the whole way. So what I was trying to do is create these little chain areas where I could attach a border. And here I am in the corner. And for the corner, what we're going to do is we need 10 double crochets. So the first one, I'm going to do a chain of 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to follow that with 9 double crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So in the corner, I'm going to have 10 double crochets, just like that. Wish I could adjust this a little further. I don't know if you guys can see this very well. Let me try moving this forward a little bit. Oh, that blocks YouTube. Okay, that's about as far as I can go. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, into this first chain section, I'm just going to do a single crochet. Now I'm going to chain 2, and into this next chain section, I'm going to do a single crochet. And we need a total of 3 of these. So this counts as 1, 2, chain 2, and then again a single crochet. So we need to have, in between each shell, we need to have 3 of these little chains left open. And the reason why is we need to have enough space to be able to place these shells and have them come together. So we have our shell, then we have these 3 chains that are now filled, and we have 2 more chains that we've created. Now I'm going to do 8 double crochets into that. It's technically the 4th chain section. What's going on with Sparky? Oh yeah, Sparky, you're working a lot, girl. I thought by now it would have slowed down, but I guess not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Mama Wheeler is here this morning. Hey, Mom. Good morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So now what I need to do is I'm going to do a single crochet into the first space, chain 2, single crochet into the second space, chain 2, single crochet into the third space. And now I'm going to do, again, 8 double crochets into the 4th chain space. Thank you for the follow. Good morning. Welcome. My name is April, for those that do not know. I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings, and I'm always working on a new project. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one more, 8 double crochets. Now I need to, into the first space, single crochet, chain 2, into the second space, single crochet, chain 2, into the third space, single crochet. So now we've gone into 3 chain spaces, and now into the 4th, I'm going to do 8 double crochets. So we're just working on getting our scallop foundation row here. This little baby was born the 23rd. So I'm thinking that was last Thursday, but maybe it was Wednesday that she came. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can kind of see here how our little chains, our little shells are starting to take shape. Here's the corner. So I'm going to be building on these shells. For those that you were here at the very beginning, you saw kind of what the goal is. But for those that are just coming on, I'm going to be building these shells up into bigger shells, fancier shells. This is a real fancy mom. And so she's going to get a fancier edging than the one that I normally do. So into the first space, single crochet, chain 2. Into the second space, single crochet, chain 2. And into the third space, single crochet. Pop out my stitch marker. I was kind of, as I was working on this, I placed some stitch markers because I wasn't sure how the placement of this is going to be. Like I said, I was just brainstorming this last night and how I could kind of make a fancier shell border. And so this is my first time making this. So hopefully I don't screw it all up, right? Hey, you know what? That's a good thing about crochet though, right? If it doesn't work out, what can we do? Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. We can frog that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now right into the first chain space with a single crochet, chain 2, into the second chain space, single crochet, chain 2, and into the third, single crochet. Now into the next space here, I'm going to place 8 double crochets. Hi, Lenny. Welcome. I'm glad you found me and found us. We have a fabulous little group here. And what I will, so I'm streaming live right now on both TikTok and over on YouTube. Okay. And when the live is over, I will publish this video onto my page over there. I may at some point come back and make another TikTok video of this shell edging after I kind of figure out exactly what it is I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. So now into the first chain space here, I'm going to do a single crochet, chain 2, into the next space, single crochet, chain 2, and into the third space, single crochet. Now into the fourth space, again, we're going to do 8 double crochets. Sorry guys, I know I'm missing a lot of the comments this morning. We have great folks here that'll help to answer some of the questions, but this pattern that I'm doing is pattern 2208, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one more. It is a pattern by Craft and Crochet on YouTube. And there are links in my link tree to this pattern, but it's Craft and Crochet pattern 2208. So whenever I come on live, there's always links in my link tree for everything that I'm working on. Now this shell border, I just came up with this last night. And so eventually this will be over on YT for a full recap of today's live, because I am streaming live on both right now. And then it'll, of course, be in the replays. I had to turn off I have a heating pad on my back and it was getting a little toasty. I had to turn that off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now into the next space here, we're going to place a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, third space, single crochet. So we have our shell. Okay, and now what we're going to do is 8 double crochets. Where are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, guys. There's going to be, I have a lot of counting today. So if you're new to my channel, my name is April, and thank you for all the new followers this morning. We have a great little community here. We also have a Discord server for crochet that is linked in the link tree. And if you want to hop over on the crochet server, we have a fabulous group over there. 1, 2, 3, back to 8 double crochets. But if I miss some comments today, guys, I will tell you, I most likely am going to miss some stuff because I have a lot of counting today. But there are folks here on the live who will help to answer some questions. Oh, Mud Creek is April too. Awesome, awesome. I think we have a couple Aprils. Anyhow, that's pretty exciting. April's not a name you hear a whole lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But Macy, I don't know if Macy's on this morning yet, but Macy monitors our Discord for us. And we have a couple moderators here on the live that help to pin questions and answer them. But if I miss your comment, guys, please do not take it personal. I'm not trying to overlook you. It's just hard on days when I have a lot of counting. So the yarn that I'm using today is Caron Simply Soft, and it's in the color white and vintage rose, vintage pink, vintage rose, vintage pink, something, vintage, one of those two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But it's Caron Simply Soft, and I do enjoy using Caron Simply Soft for baby blankets. It is a very nice yarn. It is 100% acrylic. It is washable and dryable, and so I don't make any baby blankets that can't be thrown in the wash and dried, tumble dried. I just feel like that's not fair to whoever I'm giving it to. They're going to be busy enough taking care of a new baby. But vintage rose at the beginning. Yeah, I think it's vintage rose. I could get my skein here, but I'm kind of in the middle of it and I don't want it to collapse. It flows so nice right now, as you're pulling your yarn out of the skein, and it's flowing very nice. I don't want to jinx it or anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now into the first chain, we're going to do a single crochet, chain 2, into the next, single crochet, chain 2, and into the third, single crochet. Now into the fourth, I'm going to do again 8 double crochets. So this is just the foundation row for, Victorian rows. Thank you, Gen X. It's Victorian rows. It is a really pretty color. This matches the color of the crib that they did. The crib has white with kind of like antique-y looking roses. It's really pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this baby that came, I think Papa Wheeler's on here this morning too. So this baby that came is Papa Wheeler's and Mama Wheeler's nephew. Now, Papa Wheeler is my stepdad, so I don't know what that makes them to me. I don't know if that's like a second cousin. Somebody told me before, and I didn't commit it to memory. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Get my counts off here. I'm talking and I missed my count. Okay, 8 double crochets. So anyhow, this is their first baby. And I'm going to do a little elephant applique on this as well. Mama Wheeler is working on a project for them also, but it is their first child. And so it is, like I said, it's Mama and Papa Wheeler's nephew. And I don't know if that makes them cousins to me or exactly what that relation is, but they're family. And they don't know that I'm making this. This is going to be a surprise. So once I get it finished, like I said, the baby came, I think last Wednesday. It might have been Thursday. And so I started this blanket on Saturday. And I didn't get a whole lot done this weekend around the house because I was crocheting all weekend. But I really made great progress on this. And the middle of this baby blanket, guys, is Craft and Crochet 2208 is the pattern. And that's on my link tree as well. Let's see. Yeah, Mama Wheeler is making like a little pillow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I hope they're surprised, and I hope the mom really likes it. Like I said, I'm doing a fancier border on this than I normally do. So I'm hoping I don't like mess it up and have to frog the whole thing. But we're gonna see here in a few minutes. So what I'm gonna do, a lot of you guys have seen me do this a number of times. Normally what I do is I'm gonna go around and around and around doing this edging on this blanket. And I have extra skeins of yarn sitting here next to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are in the same dye lot. I bought them at the same time. And I'm going to go back to the very beginning, and I'm going to start on the second row of this border before I finish the entire blanket. So in just a few minutes, I'm going to retie on at the beginning. And that way we can kind of have more instant gratification rather than wait for me to go all the way around all the edges of this blanket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Chain 2, single crochet. I don't know how it's going to work here at the end. I'm 1, 2, 3. I don't know if this is going to be too tight here. Well, let's try it. Like I said, we can always, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat right here. I want to try to get another shell in here or back it up a bit so that there's room. So let's see, that's 1, 2, let's go in right here. That should work. Okay, now I'm going to do the 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, I think I need one more there. That might be too tight. That's going to be too tight. I'm going to have to come back and rework this, I think. I don't know. I'm struggling here. Can I reach all the way? What is that? 1, 2, 3. Let me make this the corner maybe. I think that'll work better. 1. I'm concentrating and figuring out how I'm going to get this to work. So when I made this baby blanket, it wasn't with the intention of using this border. It was with the intention of using a different shell on the border. And then last night I was like, I'm going to do this different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the problem that I'm having right now is I have too many stitches to reach all the way to the corner, but I don't have enough to do another shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the corner, we need 10. So I'm trying to kind of fudge it a little bit and make it work. But I think I am good here. So what I'm going to do is now do my single crochet here. Oops, I pulled it out. I think that'll work. So my counts weren't exact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, tack it here. Okay, I'm going to stop right here because I have this handy little stitch marker. Okay, so that is our first side of the shell border. I don't know, that might bug me right there that isn't perfectly aligned, but I might come back and rework this, kind of incorporate this in there. But that's okay. I don't have to figure that out right now. So here's our little shells that we've just made. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewind all the way back here to the beginning. Okay, this is where we first started. And I'm going to get another skein of yarn going. Sorry for the arm in your face here. I'm trying to get the yarn that's beside me. Okay. We have successfully gotten the yarn. Okay, so now I'm going to start again with a slip stitch. Now, normally I would just be going around and around and around, but I'm trying to get ahead so I can see how this project is going to come together. Okay, so when I come around, right, there's going to be another shell like right in here, and then I'm going to tack this down kind of like that. Okay, so in the interim, because I'm doing a cheat ahead, I'm going to be placing a standing double crochet into this first space of this shell. Chain one, and then I'm going to do another double crochet into this space, chain one, and I'm going to work that into each of these shells. So on the corner we have 10 double crochets of the round below. When you do 10, it helps you to get around the corner a little more, versus on the sides we only had 8 double crochets. Okay, so on the sides there are more, but that's by design. Okay, so now here we are, we finished our little fan. Okay, so there's our next row. Now I have this flat spot again, and what I need to do is I need to make see how I had 3 chains from below, 1 2 3. I need to get this down to 2, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a single crochet in the first space, chain 2, single crochet. Oops, I missed a stitch here. I split my yarn. Let me rewind that. I don't want splits in this. 1 2. Now I'm going to do a single crochet into the next space, 1 2, and a single crochet into the next space. So you can see now we had 3 spaces here. Now we're down to 2 spaces. When I do the final round, I will end up with only 1 space and it'll be closed up. Okay, so now into this very first stitch, I'm going to skip this, into the very first space between our double crochets, we do a double crochet, chain 1, and I'm going to work a double crochet into each of these in between the post. Okay, so just I'm not going in the top, I'm just going right in between those double crochets. Oops. Let's wrap our yarn around here. I'm getting excited to see this come to life. Okay, here we go. Here's the last double crochet. Okay, so let's take a look at our little fan here. So you can see we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. On the corners though, we ended up with 9. Okay, now again, into the first space here, I'm going to do a single crochet, chain 2, into the next space, single crochet, chain 2, and into the third space, single crochet. So here we have 2 chain groups now. Now immediately I'm going to hop in between these 2 double crochets, and we're going to put a double crochet, chain 1, and into each space I'm going to put a double crochet, then a chain 1. So we're just making these shells bigger and fancier. And there's going to be a third row that actually goes on top of what I'm doing right now. But you can see when we were making these, right, we started with a pretty big space in between here. And it's naturally getting smaller now as I work the second row. And as I work that third row, that will be even more closed off. Okay. So now into this first space here, I'm going to do a single crochet, chain 2, and the next space, single crochet, chain 2, and into the third, single crochet. Now immediately I'm going to hop over into this space here with a double crochet. So when you do this, when you do a single crochet like this, and you follow it with the double crochet, this stitch forces this to fan down. So that's what we're naturally making it kind of fan down without having to do a whole bunch of work. Now I'm going to chain 1, and then again in between each of these stitches, I'm going to do a double crochet with a chain of 1. We do the chain of 1 in between these. Down here, we didn't do any chains. It was just straight double crochets. But as we're up here, it's taller, so we have to have this chain in there in order for it to fan out. If you don't have that chain of 1, it will be really tight and compact. I didn't put that in between. Let me rewind that. I'm talking and not paying attention. Okay, into the next one, double crochet, chain 1, into the next one. I don't yarn over, April. Okay, now into this space, I'm going to tack this down with a single crochet. So there's our little shell. Okay, now I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2. Now into this space again, we're going to do a single crochet, chain 2, and into the next space, single crochet. Now immediately I'm going to hop in between these 2 double crochets with another double crochet, chain 1, and then I'm going to keep repeating double crochets with a chain of 1 all the way around that shell. Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I know I'm missing some comments this morning, guys. Hopefully you're getting some answers from the team here. But today I'm making a baby blanket. And this is for a little baby girl that arrived on Wednesday. And this is a baby in our family. And I started this baby blanket on Saturday. And so I worked a lot of hours on this, okay? It's not like I whipped this out in a couple hours. When I make these baby blankets, I think I worked about 11 hours on Saturday, and I think I worked about 10 hours on Sunday. And then yesterday morning before work, I started at 5 and I worked until 10 o'clock. So I worked another 5 hours yesterday. And then I worked a little bit this morning, and then now I'm on the live. So I've never timed one of these baby blankets, but this is probably the closest idea of how long one of these will take me. And so I'm guessing it's probably going to take me about 30 hours to make this baby blanket to be completely finished. But it is pretty intricate. This pattern that I'm making, the center part of the blanket, is pattern 2208, and it's by Craft and Crochet. And the pattern is listed on my link tree. So if you go to my bio, on the link tree, there's a link to this pattern. It's called pattern 2208. So if we pause for a moment, this is what the center of the baby blanket looks like. So basically it is double crochets, and then you do this cross double crochet. And we worked on one similar to this last week on the live. And this stitch is also shown on my TikTok, there's a video of it, but it's a 2-row repeat. So we have basically this row of double crochets and then a single crochet. And I repeat that and I make it about, I make one side 24 inches and then I make the other side about 26-ish inches. And then the border is pretty big. You can see here. So this is actually the craft and crochet border, this part right here. But I'm kind of doing my own thing with a little different shell this morning. Now the pattern 2208, their shell, her shell looks like this. So it's really pretty as well. But you can see it definitely is a smaller shell. And I did this little baby boy blanket last week on the live, but it's the same pattern in the middle. And this is a different yarn that I use, but you can see it. Sorry, it's upside down, but you can see the crosses on it. One of the nice things about this pattern is it's double-sided. So if we look at the back of this pattern, you can see it also has the beautiful cross marks on it from doing those. And the border also still looks amazing on the back as well. So it is a double-sided blanket. And I just love the texture of this cabling that we do. This cabling, for those that are not familiar, is made by stacking and alternating front post and back post double crochets and front post double crochets, and you alternate them back and forth. So this is a front post. Here's the back post, but that puts that like fun texture on both sides. Now the yarn that I'm using today is Caron Simply Soft, and it is in colors white and Victorian rose. And anyhow, I'm just moving along on these shells, and then once I get done with this row, I'm going to go back and I will put the final row and then we will start working on the next side. So I'm kind of cheating ahead, if you will, a little bit. But I like to do that on the live just so that you guys, sometimes you can't stay with me for the full 2 hours, right? I totally get that. You all have lives. You're probably trying to get ready for work, get the kids off to school. If you're retired, you know, you might be ready to start your day, get out, hit the town. I totally get it. Now, I am live streaming this both on TikTok and over on YouTube, and there will be a full YouTube video after I'm done with the live, so you'll be able to go back and reference that if you want to give me a follow over there as well. It's the same handle, Wheeler 8 Acres. And like I said, everything is listed in the link tree. But for those that are new, my name is April, and I live in Northeast Alabama. Crochet is just my hobby. And I like to come on live in the mornings. I typically come on between 7:30 and 9:30, and I'm in Central Time Zone. And I do have a 9 to 5 job. Like I said, this is my hobby. And I work remote in Arizona. And so I have to be online with my quote real job at 10 or 10 Alabama time. And so that's kind of why I have time in the mornings to do crocheting with everybody. But we have a marvelous community here. So I'm glad for all the new followers that have found us. And I'm glad for everybody who's just here all the time. You know, we have a fabulous little group. 92 people watching this morning over on TikTok. And we're up to 3 over there on YouTube. So I just have barely started going on YouTube as well in the mornings. But it's nice because it records the video for me and then I just have to make it public. So that's a nice little feature that they have. And you can pause and rewind and all that good stuff. So for what's on deck, well, I'm kind of working through some of these stitches. Tomorrow I am working on the Study of Snow Kids blanket. And some of you guys have seen me working on that. This is what this blanket looks like. I will be working on this project tomorrow if you want to tune in for that. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be starting a new blanket for Christmas. I'm going to be working on a Christmas chevron blanket. A chevron is a blanket that goes up and down like mountains, like this, points and valleys. And I'm going to be working with Caron Simply Soft again for that project. So that's kind of what we've got on deck. Now, one housekeeping thing for tomorrow, we have our subscriber giveaway for TikTok, and I'm going to do that at probably right around 8 a.m. tomorrow Central Time. You don't have to be present to win, but it is for subscribers only. And today is the last day to subscribe. But the subscriber giveaway for tomorrow is a pack of the Friends Cotton. This is what it looks like. It's a total of 10 skeins. It's the 8-4 weight. Okay. So if you're interested in that, you could definitely sign up to be a subscriber. Oh, yes. Please follow the backup account if you can. Um, Let me give you guys some little yarn balls. Also, at this time, I'm going to put little yarn balls in the chat, and this is for my backup account. I'm trying to get my backup account over on TikTok to 500. In case something happens with this account, I would be able to go live on my backup account. Right now, I don't have enough. So, I see my friends sometimes get locked out of their accounts for rather annoying reasons that are they're not valid. The reasons aren't valid. And so I just am trying to be cautious and maybe get a backup platform or backup account so that way I could go live. So also, we have 100 people watching. I know a lot of you crocheters on here are also trying to grow your accounts so that you can go live as well. So if you are interested in following each other, I encourage you to go ahead and spam the chat with yarn balls, and you guys pick each other up and follow you. Now, I know a lot of you guys are already friends on TikTok, but feel free if you want to follow each other and support each other's channels. I certainly welcome that. I feel like there's enough room for everybody. I'm not one of those people that is like, you can only watch me. I think everybody does different stuff. Everybody has different projects, different inspiration. I take this inspiration all over the place, wherever I can find it. And so, you guys, I'm only here because you all are here tapping your screens and talking and chatting and showing me the love, but showing each other the love too. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you. So, thank you. Thank you. But if you guys want to follow each other, feel free to do that. And we have a great little community here. You don't have to; it's not a requirement. But I know some people are looking to go live, and it's a great experience, right? Everybody has a different style. I have more of kind of a teaching style, although I'm not really teaching right now. I'm yakking. But everybody has kind of a different style, and I think it's a great thing. When I was first learning to crochet, I learned 40 years ago from my mom and my grandma. Now, Mama Wheeler is here on the chat. You guys all know Mama Wheeler, and I think Papa Wheeler is listening this morning too. But I learned from my mom and my grandma, and like I said, I've been crocheting for 40 years. We didn't have, internet. We didn't have this social media presence back in the day when I was learning to crochet. And so I think it's awesome that we have this where everybody can, kind of share their talents. I mean, I watched one guy the other day doing taxidermy. I've watched people make flint knives. I love to watch the people fish. I watch jewelry making. Right? We all have these. These are things I wouldn't necessarily know if it wasn't for a platform like this. I think it's cool. So I learn a lot from other people here, and I encourage that exchange. I think there's room for everybody. So thank you all for your support, and thank you for supporting each other, and just making this a positive place to come and share our projects and chat and everything. So I'm almost to the end of this. I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about the stitches again as we work our way along on this shell border. But this morning what I'm working on is a baby blanket, and I am working on new edging for it. It came to me last night. I was sitting here in my chair, and I just kind of thought I'm going to try to do something different on these baby blankets, maybe, or this one in particular, something a little different, a little fancier. This mama is a fancy girl, and her baby girl came on Wednesday, and so I've been working diligently to try to get this blanket done so that we can get it shipped off. But I'm going to do a little elephant applique over on Craft and Crochet. She has an elephant that I just think is super adorable. It has the trunk up in the air, and I think it's going to be really cute. So hopefully I'm able to figure that out, but it's over on Craft and Crochet. That's the same gal who does this pattern. This is pattern 2208. And there's a link in my link tree, but I really love Craft and Crochet on YT, guys, for baby stuff. If you are into making baby blankets or whatever, she is a great resource for free patterns. I'm always working on free patterns here on the lives. And so anyhow, I'm just working my way along on these shells. And what I'm doing is I'm just making them a little bigger. So you can see here, I had this grouping of 8 double crochets, and I'm yarning over and I'm going in between each of those stitches with another double crochet. So a double crochet, we have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then I chain 1. I chain 1 because we're on the second layer here. If you don't do that chain 1, it's not going to reach across and fan out correctly. So now in between these next 2 stitches, again, I do a double crochet. Chain 1, again, a double crochet. Chain 1, double crochet. So I'm just making these shells taller. And I'm actually going to do another whole row on top of this once I get through this round. Okay, once we have finished all of our double crochets, along the side here, there are going to be 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once we get done with the 7, then I'm going to go into this first space and do a single crochet. That single crochet is what I call, it tacks it down, but it forces the shell to curve down. Okay, then I'm going to chain 2. Now into the next space, single crochet, chain 2, into the next space, single crochet. Now I'm ready to start the next shell. So immediately I'm going to skip all of this and go right in between those first stitches with a double crochet. Chain 1, and then I'm going to continue working the double crochets right in between each of these posts of these double crochets of the row below. So we're just making this taller, making it fancier. Crochet elbow. I have some crochet elbow going on right now. I have a brace for it. It comes and goes. I don't know why. Probably because I crochet a whole lot. But I know Sparky has been suffering too with crochet elbow. It's definitely a thing. Okay, now again, here we are into the shell again. I'm going to do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet all the way around. I'm actually going to stop right here. Yes, Craft and Crochet Caron is amazing. She has a ruffle border that's similar to this. I looked at hers, but I kind of adapted my own. I don't know. I might regret it. It's feeling kind of full in here. I might have to make some modifications on this, but we'll see. I'm going to do the final row, and we're going to see how this comes together. So here we are back at the beginning. I rewound. I'm going to open up another skein of yarn. On TikTok, it's 500 followers, I believe, to go live. So I'm trying to get my backup count to 500. Just as a precaution. You know, I don't post any content over there. But I just, some of my friends have gotten blocked on their accounts, and then they have to fight to get them unlocked, and it's kind of annoying. It's really frustrating, you know. So now, I mean, I'm over on YT as well, and I've tried to start doing more over on that site. Okay, so we have to kind of envision this, right? This is going to be tacked down like this when I come around the side. I'm skipping ahead. But this shell, basically, I'm going to put a final row around this. And normally I would just be coming around, but I'm kind of cheating ahead, okay? So into this space right here, I'm just going to do a single crochet. Now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Now into this next space right here, I'm going to do a single crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Into the next space, single crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Into the next space, single crochet. So what this is doing is it is adding a little ruffle all the way around the edge. 1, 2, 3. Into the next space, single crochet. 1, 2, 3. Into the next space, single crochet. I just keep repeating this in the top of these stitches. So chain of 3, into the next, single crochet. Now here is what the little shell looks like at this point by adding the little ruffle. So now what I need to do is, I had these last 2 spaces here of the row below, and I'm just going to do a single crochet into each of them. And now I'm going to skip all the way over here to this first space, again with a single crochet, and then I'm going to do a chain of 3. Now I need to look at this because I might totally change my mind on this in a minute after I see how this looks. So this is kind of something I came up with last night, guys, and this is the time for me to be making some modifications and some tweaks on this. So one of the things I really want these shells to do is I want them to lay flat. Okay, so if we put our work down, I want this along the edge to lay flat. So what I'm looking for at this point in my work is I want to make sure that this in here doesn't look like a cluster you know what, okay? I want to make sure that this is very nice and smooth as I can get it. It feels to me like I have too many stitches in here. I want to reduce it by 1 because I want these to be more like this, okay? So I'm going to frog this back, ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And I had done a single crochet. I'm going to do a slip stitch into each of these. And let's see what that gets us. Okay, now into the next, I'm going to do the single crochet. This is how I come up with new stuff, right? It's trial and error. And I just keep working it until I get something that aesthetically is pleasing, that I like. Okay, so let's see how this is laying. Is it any better? I think it looks better. It's still kind of puckering a little bit. So if I wanted these super close, here's the other thing I could do. If we pull this back, we could do a 2 together. So I yarn over and pull up a loop, into the next space, pull up a loop, and then go through all of them together. Now into the next space, single crochet, 1, 2, 3 chains, into the next, single crochet, 1, 2, 3, into the next, single crochet. Let's see how that looks. I kind of like that, 3 together. I wish it was more pointed in here though. So I did a 3 together single crochet. Let's try a 3 together slip stitch and see what that does. 1, into the next one, pull up a loop. Now I'm going to pull through those. Now into the next, single crochet, chain 3, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, chain 3. Okay, let's look at this now. Ooh, I like that the best, I think. It kind of helps cinch this up tighter. My shells are laying flat. It kind of ironed out this mess in here. I like that. What do y'all think? You think that's good? Okay, I like it. I think let's try this on a few more and see what the result is, okay? But this is how my brain works, guys, when I'm trying. I'm not afraid to like try to like rip stuff out and like re-innovate something else, you know? Sorry, I didn't mean to bump y'all. It's not a big thing. So I went into the first one, I drew up a loop. I went into the next one, I drew up a loop, and then I drew that loop through the first two. So it kind of cinched it up. Then I went over here into this space and I did my single crochet. Then I did my chain of 3. Now into the next single crochet, chain 3, into the next single crochet, chain 3, into the next space, single crochet, chain 3. So this shell, for those of you that are new, when I first showed the shell, you probably thought, man, that's like really complicated. But you can see, as I've said before with crochet, it's like an illusion. You just keep stacking things and placing different stitches, and all of a sudden you have this beautiful shell. All this shell is double crochets, single crochets, and chains. There wasn't anything more spectacular than that. Most of crochet, you have these foundation stitches, and it's how you place them and how you use them that you create these different looks, right? So if we look at this one that I was working on last week, right? This is the same pattern, but a different edging. This shell is basically the same concept, right? You can see how I applied this. So this shell right here, I only had 6 double crochets. I didn't do the second layer, but still here I had the chain of 3 with the single crochet in between. So it's a smaller, more modest shell. This is just more fancy. It's fancier, right? Because I added this round in here. And then I just modified it and made it work. So here we have our 2 stitches from the row below. Again, I'm going to go through, pull up a loop. Into the next, I'm going to go through and pull up a loop, but I'm going to pull that loop through, excuse me, through the other 2 stitches. So essentially a slip stitch. Now I'm going to skip this, and into this first space, I'm going to do a single crochet. Chain 3, into the next space, single crochet, chain 3. Now some people will do like a picot as well. And I did try a picot with this when I was playing around last night, and I didn't like it. It just didn't really have a good feel to me. And so I went back to the standard old chain of 3 with the single crochets. It just felt better to me. It felt, it had a nice like feel rather than with the picot. So somebody mentioned earlier, and sorry I missed the comment, but the yarn that I'm using today, guys, is Caron Simply Soft. And I'm using the colorways white and Victorian rose is what this blanket is. And this pattern that I'm doing is pattern 2208 by Craft and Crochet. There's links on my link tree. Now, the shell border that I'm doing this morning is something that I've just kind of come up with last night, but there will be a full replay over on YT once we're off the live, and it usually takes a day for it to get released before I can release it out there. But I am streaming both this morning on YT and over on TikTok. So good morning. I hope everybody is having a great day. This little baby girl came last Wednesday, so I started this baby blanket on Saturday. And I've been really working on it to try to get this finished up, but I'm really excited about it. I think it's turning out really cute, and I like the Victorian rose color. I think it's really kind of pretty. It's like an antique rose, but it's really pretty. So when we look at the whole border to give you guys the full effect, if it's hard to fit it all on screen, but there is the full border. All right, so let's keep moving along here. This is a very easy shell. I'm chaining 3, and then into this next space, I'm just putting a single crochet, and then I chain 3 into the next space, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. So I'm just trying to put this little like ruffled edge on here. Now sometimes you can put more single crochets if you want it more pronounced. So sometimes I'll do even more. So let's pull this back a little bit. So here's 3. Let's try what 5 looks like just to play around if you want it more pronounced, right? I like it a little more subtle for this, but you could always make these bigger. Maybe 4 is a good spot, you know. So you guys can take kind of creative liberty with that. You can see here's the one that I'm doing with 3, right? Here it is with 5. Here it is with 4. So if you wanted bigger, more dramatic loops, you totally could do that. Thank you, Jessa. I really appreciate that. I love making baby blankets. It's one of the things I do, but it's not the only thing I do. These guys will tell you I do a lot of different stuff, and I do different stuff every time I come on the live. Now, we might revisit projects, you know, because they overlap from week to week to week. So, for example, tomorrow, while you guys are all on, tomorrow we're working on the study. This is the study of snow. I'm making a kid's blanket. So this is tomorrow's project. Hey, Texas Whiskey, good morning. And tomorrow, guys, is the TikTok subscriber giveaway. Okay, so I'm going to put all the subscribers on one of those little spinny wheels, and we're going to shuffle it up and give away a pack of yarn to the subscriber that it lands on. So I'm doing that tomorrow, probably around 8 o'clock on the live. I was going to do it on the last day of the month, which is Thursday, but that's Halloween. And I thought maybe people are going to be busy with, you know, costumes and parties. And I figured I better pull it in a day. So subscriber giveaway is tomorrow, and I'm going to do it around 8. You don't have to be present to win. If it lands on you and you're not on the live, it's no big deal. I'll just message you, and then you do need to be in the continental US. I know we have some folks that are watch from not in the US, from overseas. For the subscriber giveaway, we do need to be in the US and in the lower 48. But what I'm giving away tomorrow, for those that are interested, is this Hobie pack of yarn. Okay, so it's got the purple on one side, it's got the pink on the other. This is a pack of rainbow 8-4. Just one of the little balls just popped out. But that's our subscriber giveaway for October. Okay, so if you're interested in that, now that I've messed up the whole pack, hang on, I'm going to fix this because I like my yarn nice and pretty, guys. Okay, back together. So anyhow, that's the subscriber giveaway. You're not obligated to be a subscriber or anything, guys. I just come on here for the fun of it. But we do have so many people that are returning visitors and stuff. I thought it would be nice to do a little giveaway. So I'm doing, again, the little slip stitch magic here in the center of these shells. And let's finish this shell here. So in the little valley here of the shells, I just did a little slip stitch to kind of get this cinched up. Now over here, I'm going to skip all this into this first space. I do a single crochet. Then I do a chain of 3. And now into this space, again, I do a single crochet. So I'm just adding a little tiny ruffle to this. So again, chain 3. Now in between, I do a single crochet. Now chain 3, and in between, single crochet. Yeah, Mia, here's the thing. I live, uh, I'm pretty rural. We only have 1,500 people in our little town here. And the closest yarn spot I have is Wally World, which is about 15 minutes from us. However, the selection at Wally World is pretty sketch at most times, at best. So that's my closest quote retailer. If I want to go to Joann's or Michael's or Hobby Lobby is about 50 minutes away. If I want to go to like Joann's or Michael's, I have to drive to Huntsville. And so I do take the risk and I do buy yarn online. And sometimes I get stuff and it's like, is this what I bought? But for the most part, it's stuff that I have used before or I have seen other people review the yarn. So that is a lot of times where I get to like have some information about the yarn. So for example, I watch Creative Grandma, and Creative Grandma and Cody over on YT, they are reviewing yarns all the time. They're showing the different yarns, they're showing different stitches used with the yarn. So sometimes I see their stitch samplers and I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested in that yarn. I also watch Crystal Bag a Day Crochet. She reviews a lot of yarn. I love those videos, and I know sometimes they get monotonous and boring. I'm not gonna lie, I fast forward, and sometimes I watch them on a speed of 2x. Right, that's the nice thing about YouTube when you're watching videos, and same with TikTok. All you have to do is press the center of the screen, and you can change the playback speed. You can slow it down, you can speed it up. But I do draw on the yarns that they're reviewing just because I don't get to the main box stores very much to be able to touch and feel and look at colors. And so sometimes on my yarn purchases, it is a little sketch. Let's just say that. So for example, I thought I was buying for this yarn the Lion brand ice cream. And I thought it was the 3-weight that I use all the time for baby blankets. I get my package. I got this from Mary Maxim. It was on clearance. And I was like, is this what I bought? do, do you guys always, do you guys, do you guys ever have that happen where you're like, wait, is this what I put in my cart? It was one of those moments. But it turned into a happy accident because I actually really love the yarn. So had I not screwed up and ordered the wrong thing, I never would have purchased that yarn. So it's a happy accident. But I do draw a lot on, other people's videos. And I do, if we go over to Huntsville, I'm like, hubby, can we stop? And he always lets me stop off at those stores. Just so sometimes I'm not buying yarn at those stores, but I will touch and I will feel and I will take pictures and I'll take skeins and I'll put them together and I'll take a picture of those colorways together so that when I am ready to buy it, I have done my quote research. And so then I know what I'm purchasing. But sometimes I do just take a gamble and I buy stuff online. And for the most part, I'm buying stuff that I am familiar with, I'm buying Caron Simply Soft or, I'm buying, you know, Caron 1 pound or, something that I'm familiar that I've used before. But I do buy yarn from Hobie as well. I buy yarn from Premier sometimes, Hirschner's, Mary Maxim. But I show a lot of yarns on my channel here too. So that might be a good way to introduce to some new yarns. But the yarn I'm using today is Caron Simply Soft. And I do use Caron Simply Soft quite a bit. I like the yarn. I won't buy it full price. I always have a coupon when I buy it because I think it's expensive. But right now, like at Joann, it's like 3 something for a skein. I really like Hobie. I like Hobie yarn, Amy. Um, it's uh, I really like their thinner yarns. And the yarn I'm using for Mama Wheeler's project, for her blanket that I need to get back working on, the little flower squares, they're not anywhere near me, but that's Hobie yarn, and it's really pretty. So there's and one of the great groups that a lot of people will use the Hobie yarn is Hooked on Sunshine. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Hooked by Sunshine, Hooked on Sunshine. I've made some of her stuff. Her name is Vanessa Smith, and she does a lot of patterns that go around, so they're like it worked in the round. And like there's a group on Book of Faces for Hooked on Sunshine, and you can see a lot of Hobie yarns used in that group as they're making Hooked on Sunshine patterns. It really lends itself well to projects that are worked in the round like that are extremely detailed. And so I really like Hobie for that. Yeah, we have a Dollar Tree near us too, but I don't get in there as yeah, Hobie's great for wearables and shawls. I agree, CJC. It's really nice. Is the white Caron? Yeah, the white is Caron. So it's Caron Simply Soft, and it's white and vintage uh, vintage rose is the pink. But I use it a lot. I do like the Caron Simply Soft. Sorry, guys. I know I've missed some comments today. Hopefully, re-ask again. I am going to work to the end of this, and then we're going to work some more. I'm just going to we can start working on the next side. For those that are just coming on, I'm just going to kind of work through this, and then we can revisit these rows down below that I started. Okay. So here in the little valley, right, this is our two shells. Here in the valley, I have these two spaces, and what I do is I'm doing a yarn over and pull up, but I don't finish that stitch. Go into the next space, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then I draw it through the first two. So it's like a combined slip stitch. I don't know what the technical name is for it. Then I'm skipping these and I'm going into the next space here with a single crochet. And then I'm chaining 3 into the next space, single crochet. So I'm just adding a little ruffle edge to these shells. And like I said, as soon as I get to the end of this, we're going to go back and start working some of the other shell bases so that those that are on now can see. I've been on for an hour, a little over an hour now. It's so weird. The puzzle hasn't been popping up for me. Have you guys been getting the puzzle when you go on your lives? Yeah, CJC, I agree. Whenever I'm doing baby blankets, I only get yarn that is washable and dryable. I just think it's only fair because new parents, let's face it, I mean, they already have their hands full, and to give them a blanket that has like special care instructions, I think is just kind of mean. So, um, I don't know. That's just me. I know other people will give fancier blankets, and maybe if it for a christening or something, maybe it's not a big deal. But an everyday baby blanket, like I like to give things that are washable and dryable. It just makes more sense to me. So, okay, I think I'm going to do one more of these, and then we're going to move to the other side. So let me quickly do this, and then we're going to get back to I'm skipping ahead. I'm working with 3 skeins of yarn right now for those that are just joining. And I'm just making it kind of work for me. So, okay, here I'm going to, where do we leave off? Let me steal this little stitch marker here because I'm not using it. Okay, I'm going to fasten off here. Well, I'm not going to fasten off. I'm just going to put a little slip stitch. Okay, so here we are. Back to where we left off at Dark 30 this morning. And I was working on this corner, and I don't like how this corner is shaping up. So I'm going to frog this back a little bit. Hey, Genex girl. I don't know if it'll mess up the fans. I'm not certain. I don't think it will, but um, I mean, anything could happen, you know. It's possible. Okay, so let me think about this here. I got a noodle on this for a second. So there's my 3. I want to skip. I need to do 10. So if I do 5 in each side, it should work. So I'm going to do, that'll help split that difference. 1, and you shouldn't be able to see it, I don't think. 2. Our corners, we need 10 double crochets. So what my dilemma is right here in this corner, I don't like that either. Hang on, I need to skip this whole stitch right here. I'm just going to skip it and push it together. I think it's going to be hidden enough. Sorry, I'm thinking and talking to myself. I know it's scary when you guys enter my brain of thought. Sorry. So my corners are 10 double crochets, okay? Let's see, where are we at here? The sides, we're only doing 8 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 2 more. Just wiggle this around and make them fit in there. Squish them. Okay. So basically, we're making these where they have a really kind of flat space and then the shells. Normally when I do shells, like with this blue blanket, I don't have as big of gaps in between the shells like this. But I've added a second whole fan group on top of the shell, so it's making my shells larger. And in doing that, we have to have more space here in between in order to get this to kind of, lay flatter. Here's the finished, how big it is, right? If we compare these two side by side, you can see just the sheer size difference, right? So because I'm doing this big of a shell, when you're making your shell groupings like this, you have to have more space in between. So in the corners, I did 10 double crochets. Now on the row below, I did what I like to call like a foundation chain, okay? So I did 2 double crochets, and then I skipped a stitch and I did a single crochet. Then I did 2 double crochets, again skipped, and then, I didn't do a single crochet, I did a slip stitch. So I chained 2, slip stitch, chain 2, skip 1, slip stitch. And what that did is I pull this up, it kind of gave us these little chains to work into, okay? So in between each of these shells, there are 3 of these chains, 1, 2, and 3. The next shell will be over here at number 4. And so what I do when I get done with the corner is I do a single crochet into that first chain group. When you do a single crochet or a slip stitch after you've done a shell like this, it naturally pulls the sides down and gives you that shell shape. Okay, now I'm going to chain 2 into this next chain space. Again, I'm just going to do a single crochet. Actually, I'm going to change this. I'm going to do a slip stitch and keep it a little flatter. Chain 2, slip stitch. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3. Here we are to number 4. Number 4, we're back to our shells, and I'm immediately going to put in 8 double crochets into that chain space. I knew I was going to pick up that little white. Did you see me split that yarn? I hate it when that does that. Silly little guy. Get back down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me see. Hang on one second, Mary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm looking, Mary. 1 second. Let me find your comment. The flower blanket, I forgot to add the single stitch around the edge, and I still add it. the flower blanket, I forgot to add the single stitch around the edge. Oh, yeah, you can, you're talking about the single crochet around the very edge of the flower. That's optional. You don't have to do that, Mary. Um, but you can. It's entirely up to you. So on my granny squares, what she's asking, guys, let me see if I have it. Okay, we're getting the ring of madness out here. Things are getting serious now. So here's this is a different square, Mary, but um, basically I had these rows in between. Okay, so picture this as your flower square. What she's asking, I came back along here and I added a single crochet along the top, and then in the corner I did a single crochet, or in this one I did 2 single crochets, chain two single crochets. So on my squares, I like to add this little like round of it like is a kind of a like controlling edge. It kind of gets it like a little flatter and more precise. And I do that on a lot of my squares. So you can see it here. This is a little zinnia square that we did. The black is hard to see. Here's another one. So I always just do this single crochet round. And so what she's asking is she forgot to do that on her flower square. It's completely optional. You can go back and add it if you want, but you don't have to. You could just continue on making them without it. It's not going to be the end of the world. You just have to pick which way you're going to do it. Don't do half with and half without, because that'll create problems for you. Just if you're not going to do it, then just don't do it. But you should be fine if you don't do it. So I hope that helps, Mary. Let's see. Oh, we're telling the crochet please something. This yarn, Bella, is Caron Simply Soft. It is the colorway Antique Rose and White, but it's Caron Simply Soft. And the pattern for what I'm doing today, guys, is in the link tree. But the edging that I'm doing today, hang on, I've lost count here. The edging that I'm doing today is something new that I just kind of made up last night. So after I get done with the live, like tomorrow sometime, the video of how I'm doing this live recap basically will be over on YT on my page. Wheeler 8 Acres. So basically, because I'm live on both YT and TikTok, I now have the option over on YT to post the video of however long this tutorial was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or this online chat, whatever you want to call it, this live event thing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And sorry guys, I know I have been kind of neglectful on the comments today. On days where I'm doing a lot of counting, it makes it hard for me to keep up with the comments. So hopefully you got answers to all your questions today. But whenever I come live, my name is April, if you're a new follower, and I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings from 7:30 to 9 Central Time. And like I said, I'm on both platforms live now. And we have a marvelous little community. Everything that I'm working on is listed in my link tree. So if you're on TikTok and you want to get to the link tree, you just click on the little dog up here. A bar will fly up the bottom, and you can click on the little dog again, and then you'll see like a bio that says about me being from Alabama. And underneath that, you'll see HTTPS link tree. And everything that I'm doing is on the link tree, along with all my previous stuff as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So whenever I come live, everything's listed. Now, tomorrow I'm working on the Study of Snow Kids blanket, which I worked on that last week. And I'm really liking the colors of that blanket. It's been a really fun project. So I'll be working on that tomorrow on the live. 1, 2, 3. Now into the 4th here. I'm doing 8 double crochets. And then on Thursday, I'm starting a new blanket. I'm going to be doing a Christmas chevron blanket. A chevron, for those that are not familiar, when you see those blankets that go up and down like this, up, down, up, down, up, down, those are called chevrons. They look like little mountains and valleys. That's what I'm going to be starting on for Thursday's live. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to start it from scratch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm struggling with my counting today. Okay, so after you get your little shell, and you can see we've got the space in between them here. That's because we're going to make these shells bigger. Okay, we're going to make them more pronounced. But when you get done with your 8, into these little chain groups of the row below, I am putting a single crochet after the shell. Then I'm chaining 2. Then into the next group, I'm doing a slip stitch, chain 2, into the next slip stitch, and now into the 4th group or chain, whatever, I need to do 8 double crochets. So we're on to our next shell. And tomorrow is the subscriber giveaway, the TikTok subscriber giveaway. So if you want to get subscribed, today's the last day. I'm going to cut it off at when I wake up tomorrow morning. If you're not on the subscriber 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I'm not going to do more, just for the record. Okay, chain 2, now into the next group, chain 1, chain 2, or excuse me, that was a slip stitch, into the next space, slip stitch. Okay, so let me see, that's 1, 2, 3. So basically in between these shells we're having 3 of these spaces. So 1, 2, 3 is in between each of the shell. Then on the 4th shell is where I put the 8 double crochets. Now in the corners of this, there's 10 double crochets. So your corners have more because you need it to stretch all the way around the corner and go out on each side a little bit. Oh, Shauna, thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this is a safe space for everybody. I think we have moderators, but we don't get plagued with a lot of people that come in and spout a bunch of garbage on the live, at least that I've seen. Maybe moderators are blocking some stuff, but I don't think so. I mean, it's filtered out for, bad comments and stuff. I try to keep my live very PG. Okay. Now I am married to a trucker, and I will tell you guys, I don't have the best mouth. Okay. But I do try to keep it very PG on the live. And we have kids that are watching, sometimes with their moms. I learned to crochet when I was 9, and I don't block my live and make it 18 or older, because if there are people that are newly trying to crochet and they happen on the live, I want that to be a safe space for them. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Will I have to change it down the road? Maybe, but so far it has not presented a problem. I know Sparky mentioned one time that her kids watch me with her as they're watching. And so I just want this to be a safe, fun space. And, if I hadn't learned to crochet at 9, I wouldn't have been crocheting for 40 years. So, I think whether you're 60 learning to crochet, whether you're 30 learning to crochet, whether you're 8 or 9 learning to crochet, there's no wrong time. And just because you haven't done something your whole life doesn't mean it's not, time to maybe take something else up. Crochet is very, very relaxing. It's almost like therapeutic for me. I get in these little crochet zones and I'm counting stitches and I'm making beautiful things, whether it be a baby blanket or a hat or whatever it is, right? I'm working with fun yarns, maybe different colors. And there's something, like I said, it becomes therapeutic for me. It's something about the feel of the yarn in my hands and just the counting of the stitches, the repetition. All of a sudden, I'm not thinking about how are the bills going to get paid, and oh, I need to get the trash down so the garbage man can come, and oh, this thing for work, and maybe it's a family thing, right? All of that just goes away. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so anyhow, that's what crochet is for me, but I know it's different for everybody. But I do want this to be a very safe space where anybody at any age can come and, I'm not a crocheter by profession. That is not what I do. I have a job. I'm just a hobby crocheter, but I come on here so you guys can see what I'm doing and share the things that I'm excited about and the patterns that I'm working on. They're always free patterns. When I come on here live, the patterns are free. The pattern that I'm working on today is pattern 2208, this baby blanket. So in the center here, this pattern right here is pattern 2208. It's a free pattern by Craft and Crochet. There's a link on my link tree. So if you want to make this specific pattern, you could watch her YouTube tutorial. Now, I do have a TikTok video of how I made this stitch as well, and that's on my TikTok. This is the edging that you can see here. Up until this point, let me turn this sideways so you guys can see it a little better. This right here is the Craft and Crochet pattern 2208 edging. And you would have to watch her YouTube of how to do this little grouping. Now, these shells I have made bigger today. Okay, so I'm kind of doing my own thing on these shells, but her pattern shells are beautiful. This is how her pattern is. Okay, so this blue blanket, this is a different yarn. It's just a different colorway. I finished this one Friday night. But you can see that the shell is just a little bit different, right? So I'm doing bigger shells on this little girl blanket, but the pattern itself is very nice as well. Now, once I'm done with the live today on YT, I will eventually have a recap of today's live. And so you could go back at any time and watch me doing everything that I've done today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of how I've done this shell border, okay? So they usually take about 24 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 double crochets. Now into this little first chain here, I'm going to do a slip stitch. Chain 2. Into the next space here, slip stitch. Chain 2. And into the third space here, slip stitch. So when you make shells that are really big, right, this is going to be growing, you have to have ample room in between so that you can place additional stitches as this grows wider and wider. So that's why right now it looks kind of wonky with all this space in between, but that wonkiness is intentional, okay? So now into our fourth little chain here, we need 8 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there's our 8 shells. Now into this first space again, I'm going to do a slip stitch. When you do either a single crochet or a slip stitch like this, it helps force the edges of those double crochets down, and it naturally gives your screen or your shell this rounded shape, okay? So now into the next one, I have to do chain of 2, into the next one, slip stitch, chain 2. So I'm just trying to move myself along so I can get to where that next shell needs to be placed. So 1, 2, 3. Now here's number 4, and now's where we start immediately into our 8 double crochets. And thank you everybody for the gifts and whatnot this morning. I'm sorry I haven't been piping up, and I've seen them flying in. I'm doing a lot of counting today, if you all didn't notice. But I certainly appreciate all of the screen taps and shares and everything. We've had 27 shares on the live today and 21,000 likes. Thank you so much, everybody, for tapping your screen. If you're new to TikTok, over on YT, you just hit the thumbs up. We have 4 thumbs up over there on YT. Now on TikTok, if you're wondering how people make these little hearts fly up the screen, they tap their screen. And what that does is it makes a little heart. They're tallied up here where you can see like 21,000 screen taps. And why is that important to me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It tells the algorithm that people are enjoying what I'm doing. And it boosts up the popularity of the live. And then it puts it out to more crocheters. And so if it shows it to more crocheters, then we get more people watching, and there's more fun people to interact with and get to know and meet. We have a fabulous group of crocheters and non-crocheters, all different skill levels that watch me in the mornings. I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings from 7:30 to 9 Central Time. My name is April. If you're a new follower, welcome, welcome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And every day I'm working on a new project, and everything is linked in the link tree. So all the patterns I'm doing are free patterns, and you can find all those details along with the yarn. I don't know if I put this yarn on the link tree. I was kind of in, I got to get this baby blanket finished mode. I started this baby blanket on Saturday, and I am calculating right now, I probably have about 27 hours. I've been on for an hour and a half this morning, probably about 27 hours of crochet time on this blanket itself. Like I said, I started it Saturday. I didn't get a whole heck of a lot done around the house this weekend because I was in crochet mode. This little baby girl came Wednesday, and it is Mama Wheeler and Papa Wheeler's nephew. It is their first baby, little baby girl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so, hey Jay, welcome, welcome. Glad you found us. We have a marvelous group. We also have a crochet server, a Discord. If you guys are not familiar with what is Discord is basically a chat server, and it's used a lot of times for online gaming, so people can talk back and forth. But it's used for a number of different types of groups. And so, anyhow, we have a crochet Discord, and Macy is the moderator over there. She helps me with that platform. And we have fabulous moderators here today that are pinning comments and helping to answer questions. I couldn't do it without you guys. I want you to know it really means a lot that you take the time to do that. And people that aren't moderators, that are just here with me every day, that are helping to answer questions, I really, really appreciate it. And so anyhow, I'm excited about this baby blanket. I'm excited to get it finished, but I'm going to be putting a little elephant applique on this. And the elephant is over on Craft and Crochet. If you look over there, that's the one I'm going to be doing. I haven't pinned it yet, or put it on the link tree, but that's whose elephant I'm going to be making. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, Danny, good morning. Hey, Betty, good morning. Everybody's popping on. I'm sure everybody has been here, and I have missed a lot of you. I know today has been a lot of talking about stitches. So I'm getting ready to pause here. We're getting close to this end. Let me see. Is that 1, 2, 3? I'm going to pause right here. I'm working 3 skeins of yarn this morning, so I can do this edging in sections and show you guys. Rather than go all the way around the blanket, I'm kind of working in little shorter sections, as I like to do. So if we rewind over here back to our corner and pick up where we left off, let me get through this and I will explain to you the next round that we're doing. Okay, so normally, just for everybody to understand what it is I'm doing, when I work a baby blanket edging, I go all the way around the blanket, okay? When I'm on live, sometimes that takes a long time for me to go all the way around the live. And I like to be able to talk about all of the stitches that I'm doing so that in this case, you guys can see me make an entire shell and understand the full scope of this. So what I've done is I'm working with 3 skeins, and I'm doing it in little sections. Okay, so here is the first section we just finished. This corner has 10 double crochets. On the side, we had 8 double crochets. Now I'm imagine I came all the way back around, okay, and now I'm starting on round 2, and I'm coming up on this corner, and let me just work my way into this corner. What was I doing here? Okay, I gotta remember what I'm doing. Oh, I love that little ghost, Annie. Thank you, thank you. So festive. So that's one. What do I have here? I gotta regroup. Did I miss one? No, that's good. That looks like too many stitches. Hang on, I got one too many chains in this. Rewind. Instant rewind. I'm gonna put it here. Chain 2 and then slip stitch. And then over here into this space, I need chain 2 and then another. I'm going to go down here and grab this. I want this to kind of cinch up. Slip stitch. Okay, so now I'm ready. Pretend I just came up on this corner, okay? So here we are in the corner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place double crochets in between each one of these posts. So rather than work in the top of these stitches, I'm going to do a double crochet right in between. Then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to move to the next space right in between, and again double crochet, chain 1. Sorry, I got my yarns twisted up here. It's one of the hazards when you do it this way. Chain 1, now again double crochet right in between. So what we're doing is we're putting height on this little shell, fan, whatever you want to call it. We're making this edging like taller. Chain 1, again double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and then here's our last one, double crochet. So you can see we've made this little shell grow in height. And you have to have those little chains in between. Otherwise, you won't have enough stretch to make this lay flat. It'll squish up and then it'll be like bowed forward like this. So that's why we need the little chains in between. Okay, now here we have from the row below, you can see we had these 2 chain spaces. And I need to work into these with a single crochet. When I do that single crochet, it pulls the shell down. Then I do a chain of 2, and again, I'm going to do a slip stitch, keep it flatter, okay? Slip stitch. Now I'm going to skip this here, and I'm going to go immediately in between these 2 double crochets with a double crochet. Chain 1, and again, I'm just placing double crochets right in between those stitches. Thank you, Eduarda. This yarn I'm using today is Caron Simply Soft. This colorway is Victorian Rose and White. And I believe I got this at Joann's, but you can get Caron Simply Soft all over the place. Different retailers have it, Amazon. So there's our second little shell. Okay, so it's just getting taller. And you can see now, before we had all this space in between, right? This is what I was mentioning. Now, as we look here, see how that space has closed up? By the time we do the very last little ruffle on this, it will be even more closed up. It's going to look like this. Okay, so we're right here. We're going to still have one more row as we go along. Okay, so we finished the last stitch of the shell. Now we have these 2 spaces here, and I need to do a single crochet, chain 2. I keep mixing it up between single crochet and slip stitch. Either one is fine. You just want this, you want this to stay flat. And I kind of like it better when it's a slip stitch. See how that has so much space? I'm trying to keep this more concise and flat. But I just came up with this last night, so it's kind of still a little fresh for me as I'm trying to work on this little pattern. And so I don't know, after I make a few more of these, I'm sure I'll have it more dialed in. But like I said, I just started this last night, making these shells like this. And so it is a little new. And so I'm being a little inconsistent. I'm mad at myself. I need to do all just slip stitches, because as I've been working along, I feel like the slip stitches just kind of keep it less bulky in between the shells. So here's my last double crochet. Now I don't chain on this one. I just go right into this space here. Chain 2, slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch. So on the row below, we had 3 groupings. Now we've got it down to 2 groupings. Now double crochet right in between, chain 1, and then we're doing a double crochet in between each one. Susan, can you recommend? I missed the first part of your, Susan. I'm doing a border on a large blanket I've completed. It's a moss stitch. Is there a border you would recommend? Um, it depends on what you're doing, what the blanket is for. If it's a baby blanket, I like to do a little shell border. But sometimes if it's a baby boy blanket, I will just kind of do something that's a little more subtle, something like a crab stitch, or that's also called a reverse single crochet. It puts a nice, very simple border on it. Um, so you could kind of do that. But I don't know. What does everybody else think about that, as well as we're uh, I missed my place here. Sorry, I got to rewind that. I'm talking and missing where I'm going. Right here is where I need to be. So I like doing ruffles on mine, but it just depends. Sometimes I do more of a flat style edging. That's supposed to be a double crochet. Good morning from New Mexico or Minnesota. Good morning. Good morning. Pico. Yeah, I like Pico. Oh, I need a chain here. Chain 1. I'll tell you guys, I try to read the comments and then my stitches are getting all off today. I might have to focus on my crocheting. Sorry, I'm trying to do both and then I'm making mistakes. This pattern is too new to me to, I'm missing some of the comments, but everybody, can you show us the blanket again? Yes, absolutely. Just one second. So right now I'm doing a double crochet, chain 1, and then double crochet. And instead of in the top of the stitches, I'm going in between the post is what I'm doing right now. So again, double crochet. This is our last double crochet. Then I go right into this space here and I'm doing a slip stitch, chain 2, into the next here, slip stitch, chain 2, into the next, slip stitch, and now I'm ready to start my double crochet here. But here is the full blanket. I mean, it's hard for me to show you the full blanket, but you can see it's we have these, the center is this pattern right here. It's pattern 2208. Sorry, bumping the camera, making you guys seasick. There's Macy. Hey, Macy, thanks for the pumpkins. Macy is our moderator over on the Discord. So good morning. I'm happy to see you. Anyhow, this is Craft and Crochet pattern 2208. There's a link in the link tree. But basically, this is a row of double crochets. And then this is actually a cross double crochet. And what's really nice about this pattern is it's reversible. So if we look over here, you can see it has the crosses on the back as well. And this is the edging of the pattern 2208. So all of this right here is edging of pattern 2208. The only thing I've modified on this is this shell border. I'm making the shells bigger. And this mama that we're sending this to, she's a fancier mama. And this is her first baby, little baby girl. And I'm going to be doing an elephant applique on this with the little trunk raised. It's also a craft and crochet pattern. But here is what the pattern actually looks like with the craft and crochet border. So again, now this is upside down, but you can see the little crosses here, right? Same thing. And this is just in blue. We worked on this last week. But again, this is the full craft and crochet border. So the only difference is, see, these shells are just a little bit smaller. If we look at them side by side, you can see what I've modified, what the difference is. So can you see the difference in the size of the shells? This is a different yarn. This is Bernat Baby Sport. It's a 3-weight yarn, the white. And then this sparkly yarn is Hirschner's Baby Sparkle. I think there's links in the link tree on this. So anyhow, back to our Victorian rose. So that's a little bit about the pattern. So I'm on the second round right here, working on these shells. And the first round I did, well, the very, very first round I did, if we go over here, we can see. Okay, so basically I did a chain of 2. I skipped a stitch and then I did a slip stitch, and I did that the whole way around. So chain 2, skip a stitch, slip stitch. And what I was doing is making this foundation chain to be able to work these shells. Okay, so then if we come back over here, I'm at various stages of this shell border, so I'm able to show you guys. So here we had these shells we're doing. So into these groupings, basically there's 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th one is where I do the shell. So these shells are pretty far apart because they're going to be fat when they get finished. There's going to be more on this. I like the shell make on the tutorial. Oh, you like the larger shell? Yeah, it's really I will make a tutorial of it for sure. And if you don't want to wait for me to make the tutorial, because I do have a full-time job, so that keeps me really busy. Sometimes I'm a little slower to make videos. If I was making content and crochet was my job, I'd be able to release stuff, I think, a lot quicker, but I have to have balance in my life, right? So I really do the best I can, but I will definitely make a tutorial of this shell stitch because I do think it is pretty neat looking. So anyhow, there was one other comment. What did I miss? Oh, sport weight. Okay, so yeah, on the weights of yarn, the yarn I'm using today is a 4-weight yarn. And that's kind of what's called a worsted weight. And it's kind of the run-of-the-mill, what most people use for their crochet. It's usually very economical. A lot of times it's acrylic. I'm using a size 8H hook today on it, and Caron Simply Soft is rated a 4-weight yarn. Now, for baby blankets, a lot of times they will have I will use a 3-weight yarn, and a 3-weight yarn, I messed up my pencil holder. It's not sliding very well. I messed up my grippy. Okay. So anyhow, a 3-weight yarn is just a lighter weight. It's thinner, right? And a lot of times baby yarns, because you want that really delicate like look, they will use a 3-weight yarn for the yarn. And when you look at skeins of yarn, for those that are new to reading yarn, this has a bunch of labels on it. I'm not sure we're going to be able to see it. So this is Caron Simply Soft. Sorry, I keep them in the plastic when I buy them. But you can look here. Every yarn has this little legend, and this tells you it's a 4 medium weight. If you're going to knit, see the cross knitting hooks, it tells you the size. Here is where it tells you the size of the crochet hook. And anyhow, it says machine washable and dryable. So 100% acrylic. This is the yarn that I'm using today on this blanket. And then I'm using the Victorian rose color. But if you have other weight yarns, they'll say 3. Sometimes they'll say it's like a 2, like a fingering weight, which is even a lighter weight. And then they have bulkier weights too. I'm not really a fan of bulky weight. I do have bulky weight yarns, but it's not really my thing. I like delicate, lacy, um, that kind of look. And so most of the time on mine, I'm using a 4 weight or smaller yarn. But I try to disclose what it is that I'm using for sure. So here we finished the last of our little double crochets. I don't chain one on the last one, but I go into this first space here and I do a slip stitch. And Anvil just said we have a time check, 9:27. I gotta be hopping off soon here, guys, so I can go get ready for work. I'm gonna have a busy day. My coworker is out today, and so I have to do I do her stuff and my stuff today, so it's gonna be a busy day at work. But I will for sure have a video at some point of how to make these shells because they are pretty intricate. I just want to do like a smaller like swatch so you can see it. And I'll work on that, and then I'll have that. In the interim though, because I am live over on YouTube as well, I will have today's full live you could replay along with the previous lives of last week are all over on YouTube as well. So if you ever miss a live or if you wanted to get some more, now it's not like a tutorial right over on YouTube. It's like basically it's just a replay of what I did today. So it's got me rambling, and it's not I told mom, I said tutorial, when I make a tutorial, it's kind of more clinical, right? It's do this, do this, do this, do this. Very kind of clinical, static. When I'm on live, it's more casual. I'm chit-chatting and showing stitches. So that's what is recapped over on YT. So anyhow, with that, I think I'm going to get ready to sign off. Now, tomorrow, guys, if you wanted to join me on the live tomorrow, we are working on the study of snow, and it is this kids blanket that I'm working on. This is a free pattern by Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. It's called the Study of Snow. It's a Yarnspirations pattern. It's a really fluffy, fun yarn, and I will be showing these stitches tomorrow as well. But it's just fabulous texture. If you can see, it's got fun little. These are puff stitches, and it's got V stitches and back post double crochet. So that's what's on deck for tomorrow. Also tomorrow is our subscriber giveaway. So today is the last day to sign up to be a subscriber. I'm giving away this pack of yarn. Okay, it is purple on one side, you get 5, pink on the other. You guys have seen me use this yarn a lot. If we go over to the Ring of Madness, I can show you some squares of this yarn worked up. Here is a purple mosaic with that yarn. I've made a market bag with this, with the hot pink. That won the grand prize of the fair, which you guys have seen. Here's some of the hot pink in action. Here's some of the pink. This is the Xenia Granny Square that we did. So that's kind of the yarn that I'm giving away tomorrow. And you have to be a subscriber on TikTok, okay? And I'm going to do one of those spinning wheels tomorrow, probably around 8. You don't have to be present to win, but I will be doing that tomorrow. And then Thursday, I'm going to be starting a new blanket. It will be the Christmas chevron. And I'm going to be doing the Hugs and Kisses chevron, but I'm going to modify the heck out of that pattern. So anyhow, if you wanted to join on Thursday, that's kind of what's on deck. I know Thursday is Halloween, and so I expect a lot of people probably not to be around or stick around as long. I know people will be ready to, get costumes for work and get the kids off to school and all of that. So anyhow, but thank you guys all for the support. I will have a full video of this at some point, so keep checking back for that. It might take me a little bit, but thank you all so much. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I hope you're having a great week. Happy Halloween week. Very exciting. So thank you. Bye for now.